So Mitch, you mentioned earlier that it's a process-driven rule. What are some of the key processes that are going to have the most impact on loan officers? Think about it from a sales perspective.
Well, it's definitely a process-driven rule. It dictates just about everything that you are going to be able to do in terms of what you tell the consumer and how you deal with your borrower throughout the origination process itself. So it all starts with an application, and there's a definition for an application. It's the old RESPA definition of an application. There are three things. It's the name, the income, the social security number, the property address, the estimated property value, and the loan amount that's sought. So number one, the loan officer needs to know and understand that once you have that information, once that has been given to you in anticipation of getting credit, you have 3 days in which to get three things out. Number one is the loan estimate. Number two, as I said, is the list of service providers. And number three is the settlement service booklet. That's one thing that they need to know. Let's take it one step backwards. They need to know that prior to that point in time, there are certain restrictions on what they can do. Pre-disclosure activity. You cannot ask the consumer to provide you with verifying and supporting information concerning the very items that I just went over. So obviously that's a very important thing, and that's a process-driven rule. Now once that disclosure is given, well, let's talk about the disclosure itself. It's process-driven. Now good faith effectively means that you have met a good faith requirement. You have to give a good faith estimate of the closing costs, and you met that requirement when you get it right. It's very interesting. So much for good faith. You have to be exact. You're almost giving a guarantee. There are a few exceptions that come into play over there. There are exceptions if something fits within a specific tolerance category, and we can go through what some of those tolerances are. And there are exceptions when you're permitted to, in fact, issue a revised loan estimate. Again, process-driven. When can you give a revised loan estimate? And loan officers need to know and understand that. It's not all that different than when you would give a revised good faith estimate today. You're going to do it when there's a changed circumstance. That's number one. You're going to do it if the consumer requests some kind of change that will impact the fees or the rate itself. You're going to do it when the loan estimate expires, and that's process-driven as well. Once you give the loan estimate, you must keep it open for a period of 10 days so the consumer can think about whether or not they want to proceed with this transaction, and so they have time to, in fact, go out there and shop around. So it's process-driven in terms of you're not moving forward, not collecting fees if, in fact, you haven't gotten an indication from the consumer yet that they intend to proceed. You can make changes again if there's delayed settlement on construction for new construction, process-driven again. Rate-dependent changes, when they lock in, you have to give a new loan estimate, process-driven again. It dictates, this rule dictates each and every step that you go along in the process of originating the loan by way of communicating with your borrower.
So communication is king, process is king, accuracy is critical, and we don't want to wait until August to get there.